Liz, I wanted to have your perspective. I know you're enthusiastic about parts of this and have some concerns perhaps about the accountability piece. So give us your perspective, if you will.
Hi, everyone. Liz Guillen. First of all, I'm really pleased to be speaking to many more PTA members than I normally get to. I was just speaking on Thursday to the Sacramento PTA Council, and we were talking about this important issue, and we're going to keep talking about it. Public Advocates supports the local control funding formula. We don't have buts about it. We have things that we want to strengthen to make it work. And I think one of the most important things, though, is that it needs to happen now. This is our moment. If we don't do this now, all the work that so many of us in this room have been at since the late 90s, when we were talking about the Quality Ed Commission, we were talking about getting down to facts, the Governor's Commission on Ed Excellence, and we've been talking about this for so long. It needs to happen now. The issue that Robert raised about legislators' unwillingness to go against some of their districts who benefit now under current law. Your voice is so important here. You have to tell them no new money should go out under the current system. The current system is flawed. It is inequitable. We need this change. We need to make it work. From our perspective, one of the most important aspects of making it work would be strengthening the accountability provisions to make sure that the supplemental and concentration grant funding actually gets to the students that generated those funds. And an important way to do that is to revolutionize parent and community engagement. Right now we have school site councils, English learner advisory committees, and so forth. We think that at a minimum those should remain, and the local control funding formula does call for that those are minimum. But we also think that parental and community engagement, in the same way that academics are outcomes in local plans, that needs to be an outcome. How can districts improve parental and community engagement? And there needs to be a budget alignment to that. So that local control really means local, not just district and superintendent local, but community local. That's the piece that needs to be revolutionized. In terms of the concentration grant, we feel strongly that it should be part of the plan going forward. The Senate's plan, oddly enough, would take the concentration grant and use that funding to increase the base grant. But they would take that concentration grant, which is supposed to go to low-income English learners, foster youth, and spread that around across the 6 million students in the state. That's, you know, a mile-high, inch-deep redistribution. That really loses the point. We want to see the concentration grant remain. And again, the parental engagement, I spoke of that. To support parental engagement, to support accountability, really, we need strength and transparency. And I know that finance is working on that, and we appreciate the many conversations that we're having with the governor's office and finance. But we need to start using common definitions. Every district needs to be using the same definitions on how it reports what it spends. We need to be able to compare between districts and among schools within districts, apples to apples. And we need to have transparency down to the school site. Doesn't have to be complicated. We don't want to, you know, make this misery for districts in terms of reporting, but just let us know, what is each school site generating and how is it using the money? And how, you know, what are the school site averages for the actual staff and services being spent there? Why does that have to be so hard? These are things that we have heard over the years. These are things we have heard from the community partners that we work with. Public Advocates works with community-based organizations across the state, including the PTA. And we urge all of our partners to get out there, make your voice known. You don't have to be in Sacramento. You can go to your local legislators. Let them know how important this is and the fact that they can strengthen the parental and community engagement, and this has to happen now. There is no excuse going forward in the status quo funding system. None.
Thank you, Liz.